Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Best wishes to all of us today, and nice to meet you. Today, I will present material with the title Agricultural Literacy Perspective from Gen Z, case study student of Universitas Muhammadiyah Parepare. But before that, let me introduce myself first. My name is Jannatul Adnin. You can call me Janna. I'm a final semester student at Universitas Muhammadiyah Parepare with a scientific concentration in Agribisnis. Let's get into the background. So, what actually motivated me to take up this research? Actually, I have two reasons for this. First, I see that the government is indeed making various efforts to increase agricultural productivity. A sad situation was also conveyed by Minister of Agriculture Syahrul Yassin Limpo that every year agriculture loses a large number of young farmers. And I see this as a problem if it continues to happen. But at the same time, I don't see the government taking this seriously because it's only focused on providing budgets for farmers without thinking the awareness of agrarian literacy is important and can be called fundamental. In fact, I didn't find on the government's website any campaigns for agrarian literacy, such as digital literacy campaigns and other literacy campaigns. And the second, because I realized of the stage of my campus environment, especially in my faculty, in this case, the faculty of agriculture, it turned out that there are many who don't understand agricultural literacy. I tried to deny for a moment about non-agricultural people regarding their understanding of agrarian literacy and focus on the younger generation in agriculture so that I found that instead of understanding agriculture literacy, in the interest in knowing about agriculture was very minimal, and ironically this happened to my respondent who incidentally they are young people who live and grow up in the central areas of agriculture commodity. Now, based on this background, I formulated my goals as follow: increase awareness of agricultural literacy, to find out what impact is caused by the lack of understanding of Gen Z agricultural literacy, and formulate situation alternatives related to agrarian literacy. So, what about novelty? Then, what is new from this research? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, while I was doing this research, I had trouble finding reference, be it journals or books or even just articles that discusses agriculture from a literacy perspective, so that I can say that what is the new in this research is the subject of the researcher who focuses on literacy, which is this discussion loads. Who discuss agriculture in terms of job interests? There are many, but those who specially discuss this in terms of literacy, I believe, are still very rare. Attendance can check directly on Google or Publisher Paris whether it is true that this topic is still very new. Next, this is research result. Here are some that the Sam put together. In the first picture, show how many journals or books have been read by students. In this case, the journals and books in question are related to agricultural literacy. These data show that as many as 64.5% of students only read 1 to 5 reference to journals or articles about agricultural literacy as long as they are agricultural students. Then, in the second picture, 58.1% of students are able to throw to roughly understand the subsystem in agribusiness, and the other 41.9% don't understand. This figure, which is relatively large for agricultural students, which so in the fact there are still many students who really don't understand literacy that form. All right, let's move on the third image next. This figure shows us that 61.3% of agriculture students don't know and are unable to explain the nutrition cycle of plant life, which is basic material for agricultural students, but apparently there are still many who don't understand this material. And the last picture. we, uh, we focus on the last picture, and this picture are the respondents who turned out to be 48.4% of sixth semester student. This is categorized as high level student or final year student who should already understanding basic things related to agriculture or agricultural literacy, but in the fact it turned out that many final year students don't understand agricultural literacy itself. Of course, from a small picture like this, we can have a hypothesis or perception that how can non-agriculture people understand me? Well, agricultural students themselves are overwhelmed to understand agricultural literacy. Hmm. Well, those are the results of my research. Then how I did how did I get those results? I got them uses a quantitative approach which is supported by qualitative data with a survey method using a questionnaire and a sample of 30 agriculture students. So, and last part, the conclusion is based on original data from the field, it can be concluded that the insight of the younger generation, in this case, Gen Z, is relatively low based on data. From the research, it was found that only low insight but also interest in agrarian literacy and evidenced by the number of journals read by respondents, and creative steps are needed to overcome this literacy inequality, like presenting a fun farming program. So that's my presentation this time. Thank you for your audience and the jury for watching careful my presentation. I close with the word Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.